I'm your host, Jared Van Hees, and we are here to become better habitat managers. Guys, it is late August already. Cannot believe it. I just got home from football practice with a boy. Been traveling all week here, and all I can think about is finishing up my habitat work, my checklist of things I have to do, which is what we're talking about here today, and shooting my bow, getting ready for bow season. I hope you guys are well. Welcome back for another episode. Guys, I'm going to get right into it. We'll have a little break for our partners here, and I want to talk about looks like the top 7 or 8 things that I have to do in the next 4 to 8 weeks or so. Let's get right into it here with a word from our partners. And now we're back here in the studio. Cheers to y'all. We're in the third of August. So we have oh man, we have like 40 days till bow season, maybe less. I'm feeling all right about where we're at, but I wanted to kind of go through some of the stuff here. I've been traveling. I was in San Diego all weekend and the first part of this week, so wasn't able to sit down and get on with the guests like I normally do. But I also do these update podcasts with the properties. I don't know, 2, 3 times a year max. Um, just so y'all know kind of where I am at on my projects with my properties, because we're usually talking to other people. And if you're in, our Patreon group, Marco Polo group, you probably are caught up. Habitat Chat, we throw a lot in there, guys. Both those are great places if you want to join. But what I've been doing lately is pretty much watching my food plots grow for the last 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks. So it was about 2.5 weeks ago, probably 2 weeks ago, I was out there at night seeding the HP40 with vitalized carbon load that was in the dark. You guys heard me talk about that. That was after football practice. Yeah, we're in our third week of football, so that was 2 weeks ago. Um, I got out there before rain. I seeded in the headlights, with the light of the headlights from the tractor. Ended up putting down some lime, and we have germination out there. It's looking pretty good. I've had a little batch of group of bucks, 2-year-old bucks. I think there's a 7 point, a big 6 point. He might be a seven. Just call him a big six, mainframe six, and an 8 point. And when I say big, I'm talking, at the ears. Here in Southern Michigan, that's not really exactly what I'm after, but it's good to see that they're already paying attention as well as does and fawns in there daily. The growth is already 3 to 4 inches. We have 6 inches in kind of the shadier areas that are not getting pounded by the sun. I actually had a branch from a maple tree kind of fall off the pile, one of the wall cover piles that I made off to the side, and that kind of fell into the plot like an exclusion fence. And the vitalized actually grew up better under that branch because it wasn't getting browsed on. It was protected from the sun. We have not had a lot of moisture. Um, the deer are in there all the time. It's great. I'm happy for that. That's the idea, right? But we really have had 1 or 2 rains in the last 2 weeks. Pretty much over last weekend when I was gone, we got some rain. Love that. But we have no rain in the distant forecast or the near forecast at all. Um, 10 days, I'm seeing 76 as high as 90, 89, 86, 86, 84. We're hitting that dry spell. It seems to never freaking fail, guys. We had rain all summer long too. I know you guys are feeling it down in Ohio, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, um, Illinois as well. I've been hearing from you guys. I've been talking to you guys, and it's drying up. So as much as we were grateful for all that rain all summer that really didn't do me much good. Did okay for the nitro boost, but I actually kind of like postponed my logging on the 40. Um, Happy for it. I'm sure the farmers are happy, but man, plots go in, and now we're all sitting here waiting, watching that weather. So, couple couple good things out of that. If you do have your plots in, I still have some plots to plant. Um, at my lease that I'm on, I still have another, I'd probably say 3 to 5 acres to go. But I'm waiting till we have any moisture in the forecast. What's good about what we do have in the ground so far, we should have some dew. We should have some morning moisture on that soil. And hopefully, if you're already planted, you have some moisture in your soil before you planted. And hopefully some of that will continue to hold on. Um, like tonight we have a low of 53. Tomorrow's 80. After that, it's going to be a low of 56, high at 84 the next day. So we'll have some dew in the morning, at least for the next few days. We're going to have a dry spell here midweek next week. Not looking forward to that. Hopefully that creates a pop-up shower somewhere. That'd be nice. Um, but at this point, it's pretty much for me, stay the course, maintain the plan. And if I have any bit of moisture in the forecast, I'm gonna get down and finish off that leased property with Vitalize and get that stuff planted. But it's that time of year. It's mid to late August. We still have time, guys. We still have time, especially if you're further south than us here in Michigan or the Midwest. We still have time to plant. My buddy's down in Louisiana. You got Raleigh down there, my buddy down there. He's not planting until October, some of the carbon load. We've had a lot of people reach out from Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, buying Vitalize, and they're right on schedule. So you guys still have it going on, while the rest of us kind of twiddle our thumbs up here in the Midwest, hoping for more rain. Um, it seems to always happen. We seem to always figure it out. There are some fall food plot backup plans that you can do. We've talked about them on here before. We even talked about them last week. So our YouTube channel has a bunch of that too, what to do in a drought, what to do in this situation. So we do have plans for this. I'm not worried quite yet. Um, I have been hearing some rumors of some EHD here in Michigan. Just today I saw it pop up. I've not been paying attention to Facebook or anything. I've been just working, and I did pull my head up today and looked, and I saw some people posting on Facebook about EHD. Um, a drought will do that, right? That's kind of the point. That's kind of when it happens. Yeah, I've hunted enough states, enough dry falls to understand, and I've seen it in Iowa, seen it in Nebraska, seen it in Michigan, seen it in Illinois. It does happen, and this is it really is kind of a setup for it. But I thought we had more moisture than that leading up to this to that I didn't have to think about that. But again, I'm not a deer biologist. I think I have heard about that. So if you guys have heard about that, let me know. Text us, email us, info at Habitat Podcast. Let us know what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're thinking. Um, it just keeps us more informed, and then we can, inform the listenership too. So I hope that doesn't hit. I wish I had a drop of rain in the next 10 days on this forecast, but it's not looking pretty. So hang in there. There's more stuff we can be doing. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on what I've been doing the last week or so while I've been working. Okay, update. Northern 70. I'm going to have a sip of my Busch Light quick. Update, Northern 70. He is going to hit his contracted date. Well, the extended date. Original signing of the contract was October of last year. Brian and I were at the Deer Hunter Podcast deer camp. We drove up to the Northern 70 because I had to meet with the logger. I think Brian got a nap on the couch. I signed the contract with the logger. That was like October 5th, 4th, 3rd, 7th, somewhere in there. That was the beginning of the project. We had the forester out the year before. I had loggers out there looking at it. So like that was already a year into the project when I finally signed a contract with a logger. Now we are at the end of August, almost 10 months later, after granting the logger an 8-month extension. Uh, we are wrapping up. He is wrapping up. I don't, I'm so surprised. I don't really know how I'm gonna feel about it. He's when somebody's at your place for 10 months, it's almost like part of the deal, which is interesting. It's weird. Uh, yeah, he wants to go home to his wife and kid. You know, he knows I want him out of there. Um, it's just interesting to know that like all the heavy equipment's gonna be gone, all the noise is gonna be gone, everything will be gone, and then it will be my playground officially. To where I know no matter what I do, nothing is gonna be affected or changed by dragging out trees, ruining whatever I've gone in there and do. Our deer camp group has been busting my chops to get up there for a weekend to help. Jared, what do you need? Let's go set blinds. Let's go cut trails. I've been kind of holding off because I want to know what I have when he's done and when the logger is done and gone, so that I have a clear vision on what to work with. Um, yeah, I'm sure there's some stuff we could have got done instead, but I don't know. I'm excited. Tomorrow or the next day, he'll be out of here for good. All of his equipment. Um, he's gonna bulldoze all the roads down as smooth as he can. I made that super clear. I want that to where I can drive a truck down these roads. Um, and then my battle with erosion will begin. Because when we do get a good rain and that very sandy soil on these logging roads, they like to wash out. If you've ever hunted places in logging country, southern Ohio, northern Michigan, like these roads wash out with a good rainfall, if not properly cared for. So that's going to begin the 30 to 40 to 50 year journey of battling erosion. Matter of fact, I should probably talk to somebody on the podcast about erosion, how to fix erosion, how to maintain property from erosion. I know native grasses have very long root systems like switchgrass, big blue stem. Those are always great for erosion. They use those as buffers, down in farm country, quail strips, stuff like that. Also, gravel, different types of rock infrastructure to put down on some of the steeper parts. So I have that going, but just can't believe when I go up there, there will be no sign of a logger, what, here in the near future. So pretty crazy. Good news, right? Good news. Wrapping that up. He's been seeing a good buck up there. I saw him once with my own bare eyes. He's a great buck. I'm gonna try to hunt that deer. Um, the food plots are growing well up there that I do have established. He finished one last one for me that he was supposed to. I need to go up there and plant that now because that was not done when I was up there a week and a half ago. I also need to get some other things done up there in the meantime, but I'll be up there soon. I'm gonna hang a few more cameras. I do have some cameras hung. The plots are coming in well. I'm seeing some does, some fawns, not very many deer, not very many bucks at all, and some coyotes. So we're literally in one of the hardest areas of the state, and I have my work cut out for me, but I'm real confident that we're doing the right things and making the right steps here, and we'll see the results even this year. Um, we're flipping the script. We're gonna be the outlier. We're gonna be the exclusivity in the area to where our property sticks out and looks different than everybody else's. So things are going well. The contract is up the end of August, and they're gonna be gone. So I'm gonna check that box here on my list of things to talk about and rolling right into logging again. The reason I'm so concerned about logging and getting things done is because it's the hardest thing So I'm really focusing on having the heavy lifting done, quote unquote, by the logging team. First of all, you're putting more money back in your pocket. Say you bought a piece for $100,000, you make 25 grand in timber, that's right back in your pocket. Um, that can go for a lot of different projects. I'm doing that on the HP 40 next. Matter of fact, these guys told me all summer my place was too wet to cut on the 40. Now I get a call today saying we'll be there Saturday. Okay. The contract is for the end of August as well. We're going to probably grant a small extension based on talking to the logger before, maybe till October 1st. Um, but I really don't know why it was, hey, your property's wet, wet, wet all summer. We can't get there. And now all of a sudden they can cut. We have been a little bit drier, like I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, but this place is pretty low. I'm thinking they probably had some other jobs they were doing. But the point is, they're going to help me get this thing cut ASAP. And like you heard me go on and on about in multiple other episodes about the Northern 70, I need the logging operation to be done so I can do my fun stuff, right? That's where I can come in now and sculpt the property to how I want it with the canopy removed, getting that regrowth coming up, putting those tops on the ground. Even without timber value, I don't even make anything on the 15 acres when I log that, except I killed deer after. That was worth doing. I didn't have to cut trees by myself. That was worth doing. Um, so they're starting. So I have to go grab my tractor out of there. I got to move my 360 back out of the way somewhere. I know where I want to put it, but I don't want to drop trees on it. So I got to talk to them about that. I know where I'm going to put a landing deck, which is much going to be at the top entrance to the property. I'm going to put the logging landing deck there, to which when they're done will be a spot where I can park my camper. When I'm not using it, I can put a barn up there. We can have a little camp session there on the kind of where, out of the way, most, I should say, least intrusive for the core of that property. Um, that just hit me today on the way to football. Dude called me. We're talking about that. So I have some stuff to do with there tomorrow, and try to hammer those details out ASAP. But at least we're going to get that done, what it sounds like, before deer season. It kind of sucks because Corey, Jason, and I out there dropping trees, sweating forever, clearing this little food plot growing. I got bucks on it, got mock scrapes going. But at the end of the day, that was kind of my backup plan. If they weren't going to show up, we'd have that done. Now, so that's okay. We're going to go out there and the HP 40 will be getting as of late August. That is also a contracted date, August, to be done with that. I signed that, oh, I don't know, May, March, I don't recall. But so, like I said, we'll probably do a little extension there, but just to have those guys out of there before the bow hunting season starts and gets going. That'll give me time to get in there. I'll seed some rye. I'll seed some carbon low to come up next spring. The crimson clover and the rye and the wheat, triticale, oats. That'll give me some attraction for a few and give me, frost seeding or, fall seeding of clover. I'll frost seed it again in the spring. All these logging roads. I'm also going to have them create what would be an access trail along the property line on the east of the 40. The 40 is a square. I'm in the middle of a bunch of other parcels or multiple property owners that butt up against the property. So I want hard road down the north and the east side because all right, guys, I'm having some microphone issues, so this thing's about to get thrown in the trash. That's what you get for buying $100 microphone that doesn't work well. Um, Anyways, what I was saying is I'm gonna have, in case this cut it off, I'm gonna have a really nice access trail, hopefully built by the loggers
down the east side of the property line to keep all my neighbors honest. I'll post it. I'll travel that with my boots, my bike, my quad, whatever, when I'm accessing these areas. And that's gonna, keep my wind out of the parcel. So think about this big square. My access is from the north. I'm gonna drop down into the 40. There'll be a logging deck there where I'm gonna have my camper parked, maybe a little shed or a barn. Um, and then I'll hunt out of that kind of local point, which is right by the border of my property. Same thing I did in the 15. The downwind furthest edge of the property is where you kind of want your base camp. They're predominantly downwind. So the 15, it was on the very east side. That property ran east-west, 15 acres. That worked perfect. That worked perfect. I hinge cut trees all around it. I was right by the road. Um, Neighbors could see my camper. They could keep an eye on it for me too. Everything worked out great. I'm doing the same here. I'm going to stay out of the center of my property as much as I can. So you come down the access, you hit the 40, going to be the landing deck slash kind of headquarters. And I'm going to have a nice road all the way down the north end and the east side of the property to where it gets real thick and nasty. And it's going to be my access route. So that's all kind of cool. I have to get my tractor out of there. I have to get my trailer out of there, my flail mower out of there, and I have to move the blind. Those guys are going to be cutting real soon. Saturday. Today is Thursday. So things have to get done. Oh, what else have I been up to? I have been updating my Exodus trail cameras. They came out with a new app. Exodus has. It's called the Exodus app, and I've been updating the firmware in my cameras. I got a couple of SIM cards from those guys, new SIM cards, getting that thing set up. All my rivals and my renders set up for the HP40. So something you guys could be doing right now, refreshing batteries, checking SIM cards, um, formatting SD cards, get ready for that mock scrape trail cam game. I know we talked about it last week. I won't talk a ton about it now, but that is something on my list that I'm still doing. I have two cameras, only two at the 70 right now, because I had to update all my Exodus cameras. Um, then I have three at the 40. So I have three at the 40, and then I have some other ones that I go pick out of the woods from last year. Still get those going, formatted with the new Exodus app up and running on the new lease. I'm sorry, not new lease, on the lease that I'll be planting here. I mentioned earlier, whenever we get some moisture. So trail cameras, I'm probably 50%, I'm probably 40 to 50% done on trail cameras here. And I want them done within the next 3 weeks. I don't mind trail cameras a little bit longer because I want the scrapes that I make when I set these cameras to be more timely than the camera itself. Like scrapes are made usually mid-October. So I want my scrapes to be made, early October, late September. Even if that means I'm going in there a little bit later than I want to, I want to make sure those scrapes are fresh and dialed when it comes to October versus setting them now, which I have done, but setting them now and then leaves can come in. Maybe they don't get hit, the deer aren't into them yet. So it's kind of my mindset there. I'm still okay on my cameras. That's why they're not all done yet as well. Switching gears a little bit here before I get back to the habitat stuff. Shooting your bow, guys. I have a brand new dozen of the NIS arrows from Exodus I'm gonna be shooting this year. I got them last year, but it was too late in the season. I didn't reformat my bow or anything like that. I shot the MMTs for 2 years. Really, really love those arrows. Matter of fact, if they would have sent me those, I probably wouldn't be changing a thing. But these arrows are a little bit thinner diameter. They're kind of like the Easton Axis arrows, which I was always a fan of. I mean, I named my kid Easton after all, and it wasn't for the baseball bat or the hockey stick. So my point is, I'm gonna get into an arrow more that I like, thinner, low profile, hard hitting arrow, but I need to start switching that now, and I need to start shooting that bow now. We have, I don't know, 6 weeks till bow season. And I don't go hard after it right in the beginning of the season. I'll go after a doe or two. I've never really had a good buck to chase early season on any of my properties. They're more of thick cover, rut type properties, October lull type properties versus the field edge of a big cornfield, where sometimes you see those early season deer. Again, that's kind of a bold statement. There's a lot of different situations for early season deer. I just have not had one personally myself that I'm like seeing on camera for a week before season opens and going out there. I digress. Point is, I need to shoot that bow, get that figured out. I still am not shooting a peep sight. I'm still shooting a nose button. Nose, it's a kisser button for your nose. And then I also, I have a release where I take my two front knuckles and I put them right in that pocket under your lower earlobe, right behind your ear. I put them right in that pocket. It's kind of my other anchor point. So I still have two anchor points without a peep. Um, I don't know. I like it, but I'm wondering if I really want that confusion in the moment of which eye to close, which eye to use. I find myself not closing my left eye sometimes, and that can make all the difference in the world. So, as much as I want to get that extra light in the last couple of minutes without a peep sight, because my eyes are starting to get old and go bad, I might go back to a very wide peep sight just to force me, because I'm actually left eye dominant. I shoot right-handed, but I'm left eye dominant. So my left eye wants to take over, which is why I missed that bear back in 2019. Um, you tend to look with I should be shooting left-handed. I should switch everything to left-handed with left eye dominant. At least that's kind of what I've seen. I don't know if that's the right answer or not, but most guys will say if you shoot left-handed, you'd be a lot better with your left eye dominant. So I don't know. Old dog, new tricks. Haven't done that yet, but I might get a peep installed on this bow. I might not. I'm gonna recalibrate with the new arrows. Start shooting that bow a bunch. I would urge every one of you to shoot your bow a bunch. Season will be here soon, and 10 minutes a day, 3, 4 arrows a day. One arrow a day is better than nothing. So get out there. I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna make a habit of it this weekend to be in that. So that was on my list here as well. Um, the new arrows. Next, I am going to be picking up some Morse nursery trees. I have a fall tree order. My buddy Matt Zoll, you've heard Matt on here before. His goal was to shoot a 130 in 3 years on his 30 acres in Michigan and a 150 in his lifetime. Matt is a good friend of mine. You also heard him in the Ice Shanty podcast. He's getting work done. He bent the linkage on his tractor last night, moving stumps and tops after dark. After the loggers leave for the day, he's in there cleaning stuff up, making it how he wants it. Badass dude. Love that dude. He is buying a bunch of chestnuts from Morse, the late dropping, mid dropping, and early dropping chestnut trees. He's going with a fall planting. Those trees have had a chance to grow all summer, and now he's picking them up, putting them in when the loggers are done, where they have sunlight, back in the middle of his thick, nasty 30 acres. I'm doing some of the same. I'm going to be planting trees up at the HP 40, I'm sorry, the 70, Northern 70, by the top landing deck, making that an orchard. I'm doing a bunch of different types of trees. When I have that all figured out, I'm going to see what's available at Morse for the 3-year-old trees. I'm going the oldest trees I can get, and I'm gonna do a big variety up there. But what I'm also doing is buying another, dozen trees for a buddy or two in Illinois where I'm hunting this fall. And another buddy of mine down there. So we're gonna do some trees for trade. I'm going to pick up some fall trees before I go down there in late November. They're already dormant, you know, whether I have to get them in Michigan or the Indiana location at Morse. I'm gonna bring my trailer. We're gonna pick up a bunch of trees, bring them down, plant them midday between our hunts, dormant season. And then on my way back, I have a couple tractor implements I'm hauling back. So that's something I have to do on my to-do list as well, is get my fall tree order finalized for both Northern 70 and some friends and clients in Illinois, where I'll be heading to late November. So, guys, fall is a time to order your trees. I know nobody thinks about it until spring. We talked about this many times on the Habitat podcast. But you wait till spring, you wait till late spring, inventory is depleted. Um, Now they've had a chance to rebound, get their stuff together all summer, and get your order in now. Things will be really good in the spring. Or you can do what I'm doing and plant in the fall as well. All right, next on the list. I have a hunting lease and friends to hunt with in Ohio. That I talked to my friend Mike today. Mike, thanks for listening, as always, brother. Um, Land plan client, friend of mine for years now. I'm gonna go down there and visit him in a few days. We have an Ohio spot that needs some more cameras, some mock scrapes, you know, just some checking in on just to make sure that Ohio is set up for this year. I've been honestly kind of half-ass in Ohio the last few years. Um, Not really sure why. Ohio's not always the easiest to hunt, but I really enjoy hunting with my buddy Jordan in Illinois. And I love hunting Michigan. I love being home with my kids, and I love bringing them out with me. And but at the same time, I have these opportunities in Ohio that need to get these boxes need to get checked. I've been reluctant. I haven't killed a deer in Ohio in a long time. The 9 point in the wall there, shoot, that was probably 5 years ago. And I've had leases and opportunities since then. So I'm gonna take advantage of that and put the work in, put the time in on these spots. Um, Good areas that I have to hunt and good people to hunt with. So that's on the list as well. I'd like to make a trip down there. I think in early September, gonna make a trip down to Ohio, and get some cameras out, check in, get a plan for this fall to where I can get down there at least for some rut hunting with the bow. And if that doesn't do it, there's always gun and muzzle loader into December and January. But I tend to like that November hunting, obviously, quite a bit. That's kind of where it's all at, and I really enjoy that. So that is also on my to-do list. If you can't tell, the to-do list is getting quite long and the time is getting quite short. My son has a football game every Saturday between now and October 12th. And then, they're back in school. Everybody's busy. So going to get down to Ohio for sure and make a plan for this year to harvest an Ohio whitetail. That'd be awesome with a bow. I'd love that. The last thing I had on my list here is a deer camp visit to a friend in Wisconsin. So trying to get out to my buddy's camp in Wisconsin, record a podcast, have a good time. We've been talking quite a bit back and forth about habitat plans, what to do on his property, recommendations, made a little plan, land plan for him, vitalize going in. Just really excited to see this place and kind of we do these digital plans, that's one thing, and then an in-person plan is another thing. And you can never see it all with the digital. So I'm really excited to go see this place and get my eyeballs on what I've been talking about with this guy for a while, a buddy of mine. So his logger is coming in um here like mid-September. Hopefully he gets that job wrapped up, does a great job. Um and you know has a good name for himself, the logger does over there. So hopefully that all goes well. I think that should be a great time. I love visiting deer camps. I've been to many deer camps my entire life because I never had a spot for myself, which is probably why I'm so obsessed with creating like the most perfect deer camp, farm, place, retirement setup, place I always want to be type thing. Um, I started out hunting public land, West Michigan. I started out watching my dad hunt public land in West Michigan. Never got out myself. I was too young. And finally I got to go, and then I hunted public land forever um, with him. And then when I was old enough to go with my own gun by myself, and I still hunt public land. every fall in northern Michigan. But I think that's why I like deer camp and property and this habitat thing so much is just I never had it. I was never around it. My buddies had it, their uncles had it, their grandpas had it. Um, it's probably what shaped some of the beginning of this entire podcast. But what's cool is I like going to see other deer camps, and I've been blessed to go see other deer camps because I never had my own. Um, I used to go to my uncle's all the time, Uncle Gary and Uncle Greg. We'd hunt there for, in Hesperia, Michigan. Went to Dan Codle's place up in Thompsonville, Michigan, Crystal Mountain area. Hunted there for 4 or 5 years. Um, Went to Lewiston. Jesse Burnham, he started this podcast with me as the host for the first few episodes. Hunted Lewiston for 5 or 6 years. Just really, we have a steep tradition here in Michigan for deer camp for opening day of rifle season, November 15th every year. And I'm excited to go buzz out of town after our camp, head down to Illinois, then hopefully head to Wisconsin for another deer camp visit there. So I get to hit like 3 deer camps within between the 15th and Thanksgiving, which will be probably the highlight of my year. So really looking forward to that, and that more to come there. Um, if y'all are anywhere near, love to hear from you. Love to see you guys. Love to hear any progress, success you're having. You know, we have the Habitat Chat Facebook group. A lot of guys go on there. That's pretty strict, solid habitat information. Like any questions about habitat, for sure. 6,000 people on that group. That's a Habitat Chat by Habitat Podcast on Facebook. 6,000 members. Gosh, we're blessed. Thank you guys very much for all that and being on there. Yeah. By the time I can see the post and answer a question, there are already 3 guys who said what I would have said. It's so awesome. It's really humbling and makes me proud that our name's on that thing, and we created that because we're not dramatic. We don't allow any bullying, any drama. We'll get rid of those guys like quicker than you can think. And that's what makes that group so great. Um, but what's even cooler and newer, I guess, is the Habitat Podcast Marco Polo. It's through our Patreon group. We have 20 members on Patreon now. Um, that's I can't believe that. That's amazing to me. I never thought 20 people would want to join this Patreon group and follow Habitat Podcast even closer than what we're already doing. Uh, Brand new members, Noah Hines, you're the man. Thank you so much for joining. Corey Francis, appreciate you joining. We got our buddy Jason from North Carolina. Jason, thanks so much for joining. Guys, we have 20 members on this. And if you are a member, I guess let me define what the Patreon is. Patreon is a way to help support content creators more so than you already do. So if you love all the free content that we put out every week and you want to financially support or get even closer, get a laser etched Habitat Podcast mug, decal, hat. The mugs aren't even out yet. We have a free, not a free, the first look at 2 different brand new t-shirts on Patreon that aren't even on the website yet. Like this is a way to kind of grab the next step or elevate to the next level in the hotel of the Habitat Podcast. And Marco Polo is the way we're doing that, where we have a group. Marco Polo is like a video chatting group. So imagine a group text with all your buddies, except you can only send videos, and it's only Habitat Podcast related by only the top Habitat Podcast fans. You can imagine it's pretty awesome. If you want to connect with some of the other Habitat Podcast close listeners and fans, this is a great spot for you to do it. Patreon.com/Habitat Podcast. The link is in the show notes. Check it out. We're having a blast on there, and just been really, really proud of that too. We're finding new ways to continue to innovate and grow this listenership, and I can't thank you guys enough for everybody who's joined and listens every week here at the Habitat Podcast. Let us know what you want to hear more of. I'm going to get some more small parcel owners on here next. We had a really good turnout or feedback, I should say, from the last small parcel, Nick Nation, with 22 acres. Everybody loved that. We're gonna do more of that. If you have a small parcel and you want to chat habitat, hit us up. info@habitatpodcast.com. We got an email today from a guy who is a meteorologist. Wanted to talk about habitat. Maybe we'll consider that. I want to hear more from you guys. I want to know what you guys want to hear. I want to do this for the listeners so we can all learn and build a better habitat podcast community together, and just really appreciate you guys. I appreciate y'all listening to me ramble. Again, I was gone working all week, back now. We'll have another great episode for you here next week here at the Habitat Podcast. Go shoot your bow, get those fall food plots in, get that vitalizer ordered. It's not too late yet, but we're getting there. Bow season will be here before you know it. Have a great weekend, folks. Thanks for tuning in.